Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A royal welcome. In the last half hour, President Trump arrived at Windsor Castle. What's on the agenda for his historic second state visit to the UK?
Also, a targeted attack. A driver crashes into the gate of an FBI offices in Pittsburgh. The search that's happening right now for the man responsible.
And tracking the tropics, we have a new tropical depression number 7. I'll show you when it could create some issues as it moves westward and what the effects could be for the U.S.
And possible rate cut. Hours from now, the Federal Reserve will make a big decision about interest rates. What this means if you're looking to buy a home in the Triangle. Yeah, we're going to let you know as soon as we have that latest data. Kelsey Coffey there talking more about that. Thanks for joining us here on your Wednesday. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. Let's go ahead and get right back to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, tracking the tropics this morning.
Tropical Depression 7 formed early this morning as it's coming off the coast of Africa. We've been watching this one for the last several days. We started watching it at the end of last week. So Tropical Depression now, but it is likely to become a tropical storm by later on today or tonight. Gabrielle is the next name on the list, and it could become a Category 1 storm by the end of the weekend early next week. So it formed at around 5 a.m. well north of the Leeward Islands. It will continue to move through the Caribbean or north of the Caribbean islands and then potentially take a turn to the north. I'll show you the futurecast models and take a look at what will start to steer that coming up in just a little while. What we're seeing right now is a coastal low that's pushing some rain into our area. Mostly our northern counties will see the potential for some showers this morning, and then later in the afternoon we should see all of that tapering off. Franklinton through downtown, you can see it has seen a little sprinkle from this system, but a little sunshine trying to peek through right now. 63 degrees. Our temperature this afternoon, as we start to see the clouds breaking up, should climb into the mid-70s. Ken?
Elizabeth, at 8:01, we got a real mess on US 1 North coming in from Apex around the Trine Road exit. Here's what we're talking about, the huge delays it's causing there on US 1 North. And I got to tell you, if you're really in a rush this morning, you might want to take Highway 540 as an alternate route, get over to 64, and then work your way back to US 1, because this is what it looks like. You can see first responders working that crash scene in the inner lane. That inner lane is closed. We're also seeing some onlooker delay in those southbound lanes as well. So here's what you're looking at in terms of coming into the capital city. You're looking at an almost 1 hour delay there on US 1. So that's Highway 540 and that southern loop of the Beltline of the interchange is probably your best bet. Yeah, it's a toll, but it'll save you some time. You're looking at an 11-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, and things are definitely getting better on I-87. You're just looking at a 5-minute delay. Now, in terms of Durham, we're seeing I-885 is a real troubled spot. You're going into Durham this morning, you're just looking at a 5-minute delay. But if you're using 885 to get to I-40 this morning, you're looking at a 10-minute delay. You're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio. We'll keep you updated. 101.5 HD3.
Ken, thanks. President Donald Trump has arrived at Windsor Castle this morning in the UK as part of his second state visit. He was greeted by King Charles and Queen Camilla. Trump's visit with the royals and other leaders come as the two countries talk trade and conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East. The president is expected to participate in a royal banquet at Windsor Castle today and is scheduled to meet with Prime Minister Keir Starmer tomorrow. Now to this breaking news. Right now, the FBI is trying to find a driver who crashed into a gate outside its office in Pittsburgh in what the agency calls a targeted attack. This crash happened at around 2:40 this morning. The FBI says the driver threw an American flag onto the gate after the crash and then left the scene. He's been identified and agents are now looking for him. The FBI says no one was hurt. Raleigh police are investigating a crash between a pickup truck and a Wake County deputy cruiser. This happened near Wakefield Pines Drive and Falls of Neuse Road around 2 a.m. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Police tell us a deputy was following a pickup truck when it crashed into a tree. It then rolled into the deputy's cruiser. No one was hurt. We're working to find out why the deputy was following that truck. Happening today, a second person arrested in connection with the shooting that killed 2 people in Wilson is due in court. Police arrested 38-year-old Tiffany Chestnut yesterday. She's accused of helping the other suspect, Dante Chestnut, escape arrest. She is charged with accessory after the fact and altering, stealing, and destroying criminal evidence.
Well, that shooting happened Monday, Laura. Natasha Sutton and her son, Avante Pender, were killed. 2 other people were injured. Dante Chestnut is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 charges of attempted murder. Chestnut is a well-known youth leader in eastern North Carolina. We spoke with family members of the victims. They say it's difficult to believe they're gone.
It hurts me to my soul. I will never be able to pick up the phone to talk to my brother, to talk to my mom. I'm truly just lost for words.
Wilson police have yet to announce a motive in this shooting. Chestnut was in court yesterday and is in jail without bond. He will be back in court on September 30th. A big decision on interest rates today. The Federal Reserve expected to approve a rate cut. As for what it means for you and your ability to buy things such as a home, let's bring in WRAL's Kelsey Coffey. She's live this morning. Kelsey, you spoke with a real estate agent about all this.
Yes, Ken, I did. Economists are expecting that this will be the first time the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates in almost a year. Now, today's decision comes after some major shakeups with the Fed Board of Governors. Just 2 days ago, Stephen Myron was sworn in. This newest board member is trying to fire the board president, Lisa Cook. She's still in her seat after a federal appeals court ruled against President Trump, who was calling for her to be fired. Economists expect that the Fed will drop the interest rate by 1/4 of a point. Real estate agent Tom Finnegan says this one change won't make much of a difference with mortgage rates. But if the Fed keeps cutting interest rates, it could impact the housing market over time.
What you're most likely going to see is this kind of incremental slide into a mortgage rate, not a big drop.
The Fed is scheduled to announce their decision on interest rates this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Kelsey, thank you. Governor Josh Stein is headed to Washington today. He wants Congress and President Donald Trump to approve a large new aid package for Helene relief. Stein was in Western North Carolina on Monday. He laid out more than $13 billion in recovery needs after Helene. He said the Trump administration has blocked funds that were already approved. And that's keeping that money from being sent to North Carolina.
The brothers accused of killing a Wake County deputy now in prison this morning after pleading guilty to their charges. Alter Marin Sotillo will serve life without parole, the possibility of parole. Prosecutors say he was the one who pulled the trigger when Ned Bird was shot and killed back in 2022. Arturo Marin Sotillo could serve more than 7 years in prison on a charge of accessory after the fact. It's taken more than 3 years to bring Bird's case to a close. Yesterday's plea hearing was highly emotional for his friends and family.
You have stolen my happiness. You have stolen my joy. I'm a godly woman, but I will never forgive you for taking my brother from me.
Family and friends say they remember Bird as a kind, funny, and generous man. They say he loved to work with his canine, Sasha.
A man is in critical condition after a shooting outside UNC Health at Panther Creek and Cary. Police say they have a man in custody. Video here shows Cary police blocking off that parking lot yesterday afternoon. Police say the shooter and the victim know each other. We're still trying to find out their exact relationship. We spoke with a woman who was driving nearby with her family when she saw the scene.
But yeah, it's definitely scary that it's happening here in Cary, because the whole reason we moved here a long time ago when I was a kid is because it's supposed to be one of the safest cities in the United States.
The offices at UNC Internal Health were closed for the rest of the day. Staff members are working to reschedule any appointments that were impacted.
Today, the UNC Board of Governors will hear reports on how schools have implemented the equality policy. That policy replaced DEI initiatives last year. The UNC system schools say they're auditing websites and reworking certain initiatives. Some also say they declined grant money that would put them in non-compliance with the equality policy. The Board of Governors will hear those reports at today's meeting. Also today, we'll learn about a new destination and airline at Arty International as we take a live look at the airport this morning. Airport officials will share new information at a news conference this morning. It starts at about 9:30. WRAL will be there to cover that announcement.
North Carolina lawmakers are still at an impasse over a full state budget. They're turning their attention to a potential funding package for a variety of health care projects. Now, although Republicans control both the House and Senate, they can't agree on funding. That includes money for Medicaid, a new children's hospital in Apex, and previously approved funding for a rural health care project. Medicaid leaders in the state say more than $800 million is needed, but lawmakers approved only $600 million. For more on the negotiations, you can head over to WRAL.com.
Applications are opening soon. If you want to serve on the Wake County School Board to represent Apex, you can start applying Friday, and those are due by October 31st. Longtime board member Lindsay Mahaffey resigned last month. Whoever the school board appoints to fill her seat would have it for the next 3 years. Go to the school system's website for information on how to apply.
The time now is 8:10. Playing the waiting game, the North Carolina DMV released new data on wait times where you can go to avoid the headache.
And we're staying on top of the situation on US 1 North. Those northbound lanes around the Trine Road exit, a huge backup, almost a 1-hour delay. I'll let you know how to get around it.
And we still have rain on the radar, mainly for our northern counties, but you can see that it's moving to the south. I'll let you know if it's something that you'll run into as you're heading out this morning.
And here are your winning Mega Millions numbers: 10, 14, 34, 40, 43. The gold Mega Ball is 5.
8:13, watching this band of rain coming out of Virginia. We've had rain for hours there in Mecklenburg County, and a lot of it's been along and north of I-85, but it's starting to sink a little farther south, almost down here to Falls Lake. It looks like it's holding together fairly well, so we may end up seeing more rain around Durham, possibly making it as far south as Raleigh. As a matter of fact, I just noticed a little cell starting to develop there close to the 540 line there. So we'll keep our eye on that later this afternoon. We should see this fizzling out and maybe a little bit of sunshine starting to break out. So if you're headed out the door for some exercise this morning, as long as you're south of Durham, south of Raleigh, you're going to be just fine. This afternoon, our temperatures will climb into the mid-70s. Of course, we have a brand new system in the tropics, but it has been a little quiet lately. Meteorologist Chris Michael is coming up to talk about why the hurricane season is about to wake up.
Elizabeth, we're staying on top of that real mess on US 1 North coming in out of Apex this morning. Here's what we're talking about. This is the crash that's causing some huge delays. I tell you, if you are in a rush this morning, you might want to use Highway 540 as an alternate route there in southern Wake County. Yes, it's a toll, but it's going to save you some time, because here's what it looks like. In both the north and southbound lanes, you can see the inner lane right there is blocked as a result of first responders working that scene, and we've got a huge situation in the southbound lanes as well. So that alternate route that I told you about is really necessary, because you're looking at almost 1 hour delay if you're coming in right now out of the Apex area. You're looking at a 10-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest, and just 3 minutes if you're coming in from Nightdale at this hour.
The DMV is releasing new data on wait times at offices across the state. The longest average wait time is in Wake County. Statewide, the average is 2 hours and 45 minutes. The state's longest wait times are at the Cary location at 5 hours and 10 minutes on average. The shortest wait time is in Jefferson, North Carolina, in Ashe County. People wait just 12 minutes on average, and this data comes from a new check-in system implemented over the summer. It provides better information for the DMV as they try to reduce long wait times. The agency also hired more licensed examiners. 2 high-profile court appearances in Utah and New York. Prosecutors in Utah are seeking the death penalty for the man accused of killing Charlie Kirk. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson made his first court appearance virtually yesterday. He's facing multiple charges, including murder. He has not yet been appointed an attorney, but could be given one as early as today. The judge ordered Robinson to be held without bail. He is scheduled to make his next court appearance on September 29th.
3 people are dead after shooting near a middle school in Chicago. Police say the gunman is among the people who died. This all happened yesterday afternoon in Berwyn, which is a Chicago suburb. A witness says a man with a rifle approached a parked car and started firing. When officers arrived, the gunman started firing at them. Officers did not return fire, but the man is now pronounced dead. 2 people were also killed. Early reports indicate that this is possibly a domestic violence case. Congress Congress is taking action to combat crime in Washington, D.C. The GOP-controlled House has passed 2 crime bills. One would lower the age a juvenile can be tried as an adult to 14. The other would require the D.C. Attorney General to publish juvenile crime statistics on a public website. This comes after the president deployed the National Guard to that city to address crime.
New this morning, a Democrat has been elected to fill the seat of Minnesota state lawmaker who was killed earlier this year. XP Lee won a special election to replace Melissa Hortman in Minnesota's state house. Hortman and her husband, Mark, were killed in a politically motivated shooting in June. Mark was a Raleigh native. The man accused of killing them faces state and federal charges.
Well, Elizabeth just mentioned Tropical Depression 7 forming earlier this morning. We first told you about that in the WRAL News app, but there might be more activity in the weeks to follow. Let's get to meteorologist Chris Michaels to show us the one key global factor that can lead to more systems in the Atlantic, Chris.
And Ken, this has kind of a funky name. It's called the Madden-Julian Oscillation. So let's just really boil that down here. It's a group of storms in the tropics that moves east across the globe, and it works in different phases. So depending on where you are, those phases can either result in more rising air and storminess or more sinking air and drier weather. So over the past several weeks, the phase of that MJO or Madden-Julian Oscillation has been such that things have been drier in our portion of the Atlantic, but some data suggesting that we could be switching phases to where things may be a little more stormy in parts of the Caribbean, the Gulf, and the Bay of Campeche there just west of the Yucatan Peninsula. And that's an area we have to watch because the ocean waters there are very warm, and especially, again, as you get into the southern Gulf. So is this uncommon? Where do we typically see storms developing in the month of October? We're answering all of that in Ask the Meteorologist right now on WRAL.com.
Yeah, I remember a few years ago I covered Hurricane Opal in October. All right, Chris, thanks. A U.S. Army veteran in Johnston County is getting a new home. The Gary Sinise Foundation is halfway done building a new home for U.S. Army Sergeant Mary Dake. Yesterday, friends and family came together to write personal notes of gratitude on the walls of her new home. Dake was critically injured during her tour in Iraq when an explosive device went off. She lost both arms, ruptured her eardrums, and had injuries to her face. She had to undergo numerous surgeries and was faced with physical and emotional challenges, including breast cancer. Dake's home should be done by February of next year.
Raleigh is one step closer to adding another social district. This one would go and be in the Seaboard Station. The City Council has advanced the proposal, but it still needs final approval. Social districts let people take walks with alcohol and take drinks into local businesses. This new one would go between Franklin and Halifax streets and between Seaboard Avenue and Seaboard Station Drive. If approved, it would start in mid-November. The city says businesses and people who live there support this idea. The Cape Hatteras National Seashore is urging people to avoid the beach near a house that collapsed. This happened on Tower Circle Road in Buxton. The house was not occupied, but this is the 12th house to collapse on seashore beaches in the past 5 years. All right, now it's time to get a check on the local forecast here today. Another cool start to our day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gartner with a look at the latest happening in the tropics.
So this is our new tropical depression number 7. It formed this morning. It's been moving off the coast of Africa for the last several days. You've heard us talk about it yesterday. It had a 90% chance of developing. And so here it is. It's moving to the west at 13 miles per hour with winds at 35. And it will continue along that path, potentially reaching tropical storm strength later this afternoon. The next name on the list is Gabrielle, and it could become a hurricane by the end of the weekend. You can see its path moving off to the northwest. And the big question is, will it curve before it hits the United States? And right now the answer is probably, and here's why. High pressure sitting to the north of it, rotating clockwise, will help to push it along to the west and then potentially sweep it up to the north. Also could be helped along by cold fronts coming off the coast of the United States. This tends to be a fairly active time of year with multiple fronts coming through. So there's a good chance a front will come through and help to kick it out. That's definitely what our European model is showing, that it kicks it out. The American model doesn't really show it developing a whole lot. So we'll continue to watch it just in case things change. You want to keep checking in with us. Notice that we do have rain that's moving through our northern counties right now. We'll zoom in, and rain's about to move through Durham. It's raining in Creedmoor, northern Durham County, Hillsborough. You're about to see some showers, and it looked like this might fall apart before it made it into Wake County, but that's actually looking a little less likely. We're we're going to start to see that rain moving on into Wake County, most likely here in the next 30 minutes to an hour. Oxford and Henderson, Norlina now seeing rain, and that's likely to continue to push eastward all the way to Roanoke Rapids. This is a look at Futurecast, and notice Futurecast fizzles this out, but it definitely is kind of holding on a little bit more than what we're seeing there. It does look like most likely this afternoon we'll end up with a little bit of sunshine in our southern counties. Not a lot of rain associated with this, probably a quarter to a tenth of an inch up near the Virginia line. Tomorrow we're back to clear skies and warmer temperatures, almost 90 on Friday, but do not fear, we have cooler air on the way for the first day of fall, high 79, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're staying on top of that real mess on US 1 north and south around Tryon Road. The icon is still here, but we're taking a live look, courtesy of a live cam network. You can see the northbound lanes. That crash has been cleared out of the median. We're still seeing some lingering delays in the north and southbound lanes. So I still recommend, if you're in a rush, take I-540 in that southern Wake County. It's a toll road, but it'll save you some time, because right now you're looking at a 1-hour delay coming in from Apex, a 10-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning. Things have definitely gotten better on I-87 coming in from Nidell this morning. And really and truly, things are improving on I-885. Just a 7-minute delay if you're using that road in and out of Durham this morning.
Ken, thank you. Buying used. With new car prices hitting record highs, many buyers are turning to the used car market. 5 on your side shows you how to buy smart and get the lowest price. Plus, premiums rising. Why the state treasurer tells WRAL he's considering increasing costs for everyone on the state health plan.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. The time is 8:26. I'm Laura Levine. Let's get right over to Ken Smith in the WRAL Traffic Center.
Yeah, Laura, we're tracking this huge delays that we're seeing both in the north and southbound lanes on US 1 around the Tryon Road exit. You still see a stalled vehicle there on the shoulder of the road in those northbound lanes, but you can still see the huge delays that's happening in both the north and southbound lanes this morning. Here's what we're looking at in terms of the delays coming in. You're looking at almost a 1-hour delay if you're coming north on US 1 this morning. So highway I-540 in that southern loop of the interchange there, that's probably your best bet to avoid what's happening on US 1. I have an update at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
And taking a look at radar, we still have showers in our northern counties. That's moving southward pretty quickly. So I would expect to see that from Durham to Raleigh before it fizzles out. But mainly it's along the I-85 corridor right now. Durham starting to see some of that rain. Again, likely to move on into the northern part of Wake County, probably in the next 30 minutes. Later this afternoon, the clouds will slowly break up. Our high temperatures will climb into the mid-70s.
Governor Josh Stein is headed to Capitol Hill today. He wants Congress and President Trump to approve a large new aid package for Helene relief. Stein said the Trump administration has blocked funds from being sent to North Carolina. A second person arrested in connection with a shooting that killed 2 people in Wilson is expected in court. Tiffany Chestnut is accused of helping the other suspect escape arrest. She's charged with accessory after the fact, altering, stealing, and destroying criminal evidence. Next on Fox 50 here, how possible interest rate cuts could impact the housing market. And coming up on Today, a full U.S. Constitution on display.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your #1 source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Happening now, we've got a huge congestion on US 1 north and south. There you can see first responders still working the scene there in those northbound lanes. I'll let you know how to get around this huge backup.
And new this morning, Tropical Depression 7 has formed over the central Atlantic. We'll show you the first path released by the National Hurricane Center coming up.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, I'm giving you a live update regarding Windsor Castle and President Donald Trump there for a historic visit to the UK.
Plus, lowering interest rates. The Federal Reserve expected to make a cut for the first time this year. What that means if you're looking to buy a home. A lot of news to get to here. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Laura Levine.
And I'm Ken Smith. Now, the least of which, the forecast, particularly the tropics. Let's get to meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center tracking that for us.
Yeah, good morning, guys. As of 5 o'clock this morning, or shortly before that, Tropical Depression 7 formed in the central Atlantic. If you have the WRAL News app, you knew just moments after it formed. It'll become a tropical storm at some point later today, according to the National Hurricane Center. Category 1 hurricane by Sunday and likely to move east away from the U.S. Let's bring you back home, though. We've got finally some rain showers coming through. Henderson and Oxford dealing with that, also near Falls Lake. Some of this moving into Wake County this morning and then gradually shifting east and out of the area. That's why our rain chances up until about 10, maybe 11 o'clock will be 40% and then 20% heading into the rest of the afternoon. And this creates a big split in our temperatures. Fayetteville at 80, South Hill at 69, Lewisburg at 72, and Raleigh at 76. I'll show you which parts of this area could hit 90 degrees later in the week coming up. Ken?
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. I'll get to that situation on US 1 in just a little bit, but first I got to tell you about this situation on I-40 eastbound. This crash here right near the Highway 55 interchange. You can see the huge delays it's causing all the way back to Highway 54. So keep that in mind if you're about to head out this morning and you're coming east. An alternate route definitely is warranted. Now, this is a situation on US 1, both north and south around the Tryon Road exit. You can see the huge delays it's causing there. Here's what we're talking about. You can see the tow truck off into the shoulder of the road. You can see the southbound lanes also completely jammed up this morning. This has been the case for the last hour or so. If you're in a rush, you probably would want to take I-540 there on the southern Wake County. It's a toll, but it'll save you some time. Even though things are getting a little better, you're still looking at a 44-minute delay coming into the capital city from Apex, a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest this morning, and things are definitely improving along I-87 coming in from Nightdale. Over in Durham, the situation with that crash that I just showed you on I-40 eastbound around Highway 55, you're looking at a 21-minute delay coming in from Chapel Hill. If you're using Highway 98 coming in from Wake Forest to get to Durham, you're looking at a 9-minute delay. As always, you're getting ready to head into the car. Tune us in on the radio, 101.5 HD3.
Your time is 8:33 here in the WRAL Live Center. We are keeping our eye here on Windsor Castle, where President Donald Trump and the First Lady are currently meeting with. We have Queen Camilla there and King Charles III, and this is actually a historic visit as the first time a U.S. president has had 2 state visits to the U.K. there. In terms of what they'll be discussing, we do know that later that the president should be meeting up with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and they're set to talk a little bit about, among other things, trying to de-escalate the situation between Ukraine and Russia. But you'll see all the people that are lined out outside the castle there right now. We'll have some updates throughout the day to see what else is discussed here. But yes, again, we do know the president arrived not that long ago there, a horse-drawn carriage around Windsor Castle. As soon as we get more updates, we'll report them here on WRAL News.
Chris, thank you. This morning, a pickup truck hit a Wake County deputy cruiser. This happened near Wakefield Pines Drive and Falls of Neuse Road around 2 a.m. This is video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. The sheriff's office says a deputy was trying to pull the pickup truck over for reckless driving. And when the driver hit that cruiser, no one was hurt.
Well, today, a second person arrested in connection to a murder that left 2 people dead in Wilson. That person is expected in court. Tiffany Chestnut is charged with accessory after the fact and altering or destroying and stealing evidence. According to an arrest warrant, she picked up a piece of a broken weapon and gave it to the suspect before he took off. That man is Dante Chestnut. It's unclear if and how this all are related. He faced the judge yesterday. He's accused of killing Natasha Sutton and her son Avante Penda on Monday. He's in jail with no bond. There's no word yet on what may have led up to this shooting.
This morning, the men accused of killing Wake County Deputy Ned Byrd are starting their prison sentences after pleading guilty. Alder Marine Sotelo will serve life in prison without the possibility of parole. He's the man prosecutors say pulled the trigger. His brother Arturo may serve more than 7 years in prison on a charge of accessory after the fact. Byrd was shot and killed in 2022 on a rural stretch of Battle Bridge Road. Family and friends tell WRAL they remember him as a kind, funny, and generous man. They say he loved working with his canine, Sasha.
Now listen, this is an important day if you're looking to make a big purchase. Today, the Federal Reserve is expected to approve an interest rate cut. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is in Raleigh speaking with a real estate agent about what this could mean for people, say, trying to buy a home.
Economists are expecting that today will be the first time the Federal Reserve cuts interest rates in about a year. Today's decision comes after major shakeups with the Fed Board of Governors. Just 2 days ago, Stephen Myron was sworn in. This newest board member is trying to fire the board president, Lisa Cook. She's still in her seat after a federal appeals court ruled against President Trump, who was calling for her to be fired. Economists expect that the Fed will drop interest rates by 1/4 point. Real estate agent Tom Finnegan says this one change won't make much of a difference with mortgage rates. But if the Fed keeps cutting interest rates, it could impact the housing market.
If rates drop significantly enough, we might be sliding back into 2021 or 2022 with everybody jumping back into the market at once. So then, even though the mortgage rate will be lower, the competition may be higher again.
The Fed is scheduled to announce their decision about interest rates this afternoon at 2. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Raleigh.
Let's get a live look now from Capitol Hill this morning as Governor Josh Stein is headed to Washington, D.C. He wants Congress and President Donald Trump to approve a large new aid package for Helene relief. Stein was in Western North Carolina earlier this week. He laid out more than $13 billion in recovery needs after Helene. He said the Trump administration has blocked funds that were already approved, and that's keeping the money from being sent to North Carolina.
Well, today, students at Utah Valley University are returning to class for the first time since the killing of Charlie Kirk. And now prosecutors say text messages to and from the man accused of killing him are giving new details about that shooting. In one message, Tyler Robinson tells his roommate, "Shouldn't be long until I come home, but I gotta go grab a rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this a secret till I died of old age." When his roommate asked why he did it, Robinson said, "I had enough of this hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out." The 22-year-old Robinson made his first court appearance virtually yesterday. Prosecutors say they plan to seek the death penalty.
The original suspect, Ken, arrested at Charlie Kirk's Utah rally, is facing charges. George Zinn was at the rally when Kirk was shot, and that's when he began yelling out that he was the one who shot him. Police arrested Zinn, but later said he wasn't the shooter. Authorities say that he told them he was slowing down their response to the shooting and buying the time for the real shooter to get away. Police say they also found inappropriate pictures of underage children on Zinn's phone.
Well, police in Durham are looking for the person responsible for a shooting that hurt 2 people. This video from Sky 5 of the scene on Larchwood Drive around 3:15 yesterday afternoon. Police say they found a vehicle with several bullet holes. As for the victims, a man was badly injured. He could actually die from those injuries. A woman was injured and is expected to recover.
This morning, we're learning more about what officials initially thought was a suspicious device turned out to be part of a tractor. This was the scene on Marshburn Road in Wendell last night. Police were on the scene for a few hours before giving the all clear.
Only on WRAL, State Treasurer Brad Brenner says he might have to raise premiums for everyone on the state health plan. This all comes from Duke Health and Aetna Insurance. They're in a contract dispute. Duke wants Aetna to pay higher rates. Aetna is threatening to drop Duke from its network. The insurer's customers include every state employee in North Carolina. Well, just last month, the health plan's premiums were hiked to cover rising costs.
We can't just give Duke whatever it wants. Given that we'll be raising premiums on everybody already, and if we give Duke what it wants, then we're going to have to raise them even more. And that's just not fair.
Well, Duke says it's simply asking for enough to keep the staff and equipment needed to keep providing high-quality care, the hospital says. That's according to the hospital. Here's what it says. Unfortunately, Aetna has not agreed to updated reimbursement rates that keep pace with rising healthcare costs and reflect the actual cost of providing patient care. Now, tune into our news at noon for more on what this battle means for all of Aetna's North Carolina customers. You can also read more about this story on WRAL.com.
Happening today, the Board of Governors is set to get reports on how schools and the UNC system have implemented the, quote, equality policy. That's how the UNC system is complying with the ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Schools say they are auditing websites and reworking certain initiatives. Some declined grant money that would put them in non-compliance with the policy. The Board of Governors meets at 10 this morning.
Today, the former CDC director will testify in front of the Senate Health Committee on Capitol Hill. Dr. Susan Menares is expected to answer questions about the agency and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. She's expected to give details about what she says is Kennedy's push to put politics before public health. That includes claims he required all CDC policy and personnel decisions to be cleared by political staff. Kennedy's department has not commented on the claims.
Still to come now, buying used. With new car prices hitting record highs, many buyers are turning to the used car market. 5 on Your Side shows you how to buy smart and get the lowest price. Plus,
also, rediscovering her love for teaching. Coming up on our Teacher of the Week, we meet a teacher who says teaching first grade is her sweet spot. Let's head outside and give you a live look now as we look live at the Goldsboro. A little bit of sun coming out this morning. Meteorologist Chris Michaels will let us know if we might expect some rain coming up in the next few days.
It's about 8:45, and we'll start you out with Tropical Depression 7, showing you what's guiding it. It's kind of sandwiched in between these two areas of high pressure for the time being, and as it tries to approach the East Coast, looks like some fronts will try to push it away from us heading into next week. Missed out on the rain yesterday. A lot of us fighting for the hope for some second chances here, and we're getting that at least, especially north of Raleigh. A little bit of light rain around Falls News, or around the Falls Lake, I should say. Around Durham, that continuing to move to the south as well. Just a stray shower around Goldston, and more showers moving into areas like Lewisburg and Franklinton. By the afternoon, shower chances are down. Temperatures mainly in the mid-70s for the Triangle, and we're 5 days away from the official start to fall, but summer coming back in the 11th hour. I'll show you which places could hit near 90 degrees coming up.
All right, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We've got some good news to report on US 1 north and south for that matter. We still see a stalled vehicle there on the shoulder of the road, but the crash earlier has cleared, but we're still seeing some lingering delays in those northbound lanes. Those southbound lanes are really beginning to clear. But look at this, just a 17-minute delay coming in from Apex this morning, a 9-minute delay if you're coming in from Wake Forest. So it's a situation there that's definitely clearing up. I'll have an update in just a few minutes here on Fox 50.
Into the WRAL Live Center as we're trying to get more information about this man right here. This is Donald Henson, the person the FBI in Pittsburgh is saying purposely rammed it, in fact, into their gates there. Now, I can show you a little bit more of the scene because you'll see the vehicle that was there still at the site. We do know that witnesses in that area say that they witnessed a person get out of the vehicle, drape that American flag over a gate, and then yell something and walk away. There was a message with expletives written in red on the driver's side of that door there for the vehicle that you see right here on your screen. I did reach out to the FBI's office just a little bit ago, and we're going to try to get more specifics here in the WRAL Live Center.
Chris, thank you. The average price of a new car is nearly $50,000. If that's got you thinking about going used for your next vehicle, well, 5 on Your Side's Ashley Rowe is helping you find a ride that is both reliable and affordable.
First, let's talk about the reliability part of this. Get a vehicle history report on any used car you're considering buying and look at the model's reliability ratings. Get an independent mechanic to check that out and take it for a thorough test drive. Doing this up front can save you a lot of money and headaches later on. On the cost side of things, you can lose a lot in the fine print. Consumer Reports says hidden costs like reconditioning, licensing, or pricey extended warranties can pile up quickly. Don't be afraid to say no, and always ask about anything that doesn't make sense on your bill. When it comes to paying for the car, know that right now the average interest rate on a used car loan, according to Experian, is around 12%.
Even small differences in interest rates can add up over time. So before you go to the dealership, check your credit score, get pre-approved for a loan, put down as much money as you can, and avoid those long-term loans.
According to Consumer Reports, some of the best used cars to target include the 2019 Toyota Corolla, the 2018 Mazda CX-5, and the 2019 Toyota Camry Hybrid. Ashley Rowe, 5 on Your Side.
New information from OpenAI shows most people using ChatGPT use it for personal reasons, not for work. The company studied 1.5 million chat logs. Researchers say more than 70% of prompts involve school assignments, fitness tips, or writing help. The study also found nearly 2% of conversations are about relationship advice and feelings. Our teacher of the week rediscovered her love for shaping young minds that set her on a new career and academic path. We're at Wiley Elementary School to surprise a teacher who says teaching first grade is her sweet spot.
So the tally mark song goes 1, 2, 3.
Count on Lauren Golden to go the extra mile every day.
Shuts the door.
To open the minds of her students in her first grade class at Wiley Elementary School, she's had plenty of experience nurturing children.
I grew up right outside of Charlotte, and I was babysitting for a lot of children there. I fell in love with it, and I started working with a little girl with special needs. I fell in love with that as well and decided I was going to go back to school and start my education journey.
Golden is in her 7th year and counting on her education journey.
Okay, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. Kiss your brain. Very good.
She says for her, success is seeing the social, emotional, and academic growth in her students from the first day of school to the last.
My kids, we always talk about our class being a family, and we're a small-knit little community between myself and the students and their parents. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5.
Golden says, like many teachers, she understands students learn at their own pace, and her daily goal is meeting students where they are academically.
They know eventually if they keep working and they're persisting and they're working with Miss Golden and the wonderful teachers at Wiley, they will get it at some point, and when they do, to see how proud they are of themselves is just the best.
Miss Golden, you are WRAL's Teacher of the Week. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Delight. If you'd like to nominate a teacher, go to WRAL.com and enter Teacher of the Week in the search box.
Well, Ben & Jerry's ice cream could now be called just Ben's. Co-founder Jerry Greenfield quit the ice cream brand after 47 years. It's because of a disagreement with Unilever, who the pair sold their company to 25 years ago. Now, part of that deal was that they would keep the autonomy to pursue their values. Greenfield and co-founder Ben Cohen did continue speaking out in support of peace, justice, and human rights for 2 decades. But now Greenfield says that they started to change that recently. Last week, he and Cohen did ask the company to spin off their former company so it could operate independently. But the company said no and denies that it is silencing the co-founders.
All right, we want to get to the forecast. We've got some rain on the lens of our cameras there at Lake Gaston. Let's bring in meteorologist Chris Michaels in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. And Chris, wondering if some of that rain is going to come our way.
Yeah, and it's coming down from the north, right? So this is on the back edge of low pressure, finally delivering on the rain that was initially in the forecast. And really, that's going to be in areas north of I-40. Futurecast by 10 o'clock in the morning shows it weakening. I don't really see that happening completely. It may just break up a little bit. By 2 p.m., mostly north of I-85 is where we see some showers. But then once high pressure starts to build in from the west and we get that drying flow out of the north, things will start to taper off for us in the nighttime. Looks to be pretty quiet. Next weather maker is that area of high pressure. So do we keep temperatures the same? Not necessarily. As we head into the end of the week, things will actually change a lot for us in regards to temperatures because the wind will start coming in out of the west and southwest, and storm chances will remain fairly low. Especially Fridays when you're going to notice the difference, right? Some of us today, like Roanoke Rapids and South Hill and Warrenton, you may not crack the 60s. But as we head toward Friday, a lot of us 85 to 90 degrees. As we head into the final weekend of summer. Then there's Tropical Depression 7. It formed at 5 o'clock this morning, well east of the Leeward Islands, moves north of the Caribbean through Monday, and then it's likely shoved east of the U.S. heading toward next Wednesday. Let's take a look at the next 7 days here at home. Again, today's probably the coolest of the next 7. We're warmer tomorrow. That warm up starts with your Thursday in the low to mid 80s. Friday, we're at about 85 to 90 degrees. So if you were looking to save summer for another day, there you got it. Mid 80s by Saturday as well. Sunday in the low 80s, and then the first official day of fall is Monday. It'll kind of sort of feel like it. High temperatures upper 70s, and then we warm back up by Tuesday with high temperatures by then in the low to mid 80s.
First official day of fall. Love it.
Yes, and before we go to break, let's take a look at the winning lottery numbers, and we'll get another check on weather and traffic next.